cybersecurity news roundup. I'm Ellie Diamond, and this is ThreatWire. Australia has finally put into effect their age-restricted social media ban. The social media ban is a part of the social media age obligation. The obligation requires companies to prevent users under the age of 16 from accessing their platforms. We originally covered this story in our September 29th episode of ThreatWire linked below. The original list of social media outlets that were under consideration of being banned could be expected, also unexpected GitHub. The final list has come out of social media platforms to be banned and has been released and put into action. The following social media sites were affected: Facebook, Instagram, Kik, Reddit, Snapchat, Reddit, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter/X, and YouTube. GitHub did not make the final list of social media sites to be banned, but falls under the list of not age-restricted social media platforms. The list of banned and unbanned social media is the eSafety Commissioner's views as of November 21st, 2025. On December 10th, the restricted companies were forced to cut off service for users under the age of 16. On Sunday, December 14th, 2025, a post was made to the r/hacking subreddit announcing the return of the infamous breach forums. Literally over that day, an email was sent to previous members of the website that breach forums was back and accessible to all members. For context, breach forums is a dark website dedicated to hacking, black hat activities, and more. The website has a history of going on and offline due to being seized by different governments, admin arrests, and other reasons. The issue is that the email came from the domain of the official French Ministry of the Interior. There is belief that this may have been spoofed, but others believe that this is an attempted honeypot that failed before it started. The fact that previous users received emails means that there was some sort of access to the user database, but those who did try to visit the website faced errors. So what do you think? Is breach forums actually back, or did someone screw up really horribly while trying to run a honeypot? The modern instance of the free internet is coming under more and more scrutiny. Most recently, Denmark has proposed new legislation to ban the use of VPNs in order to, quote, prevent internet piracy. Aims to undercut what is believed to be a significant media problem form of the country. Most recently, Denmark has proposed new legislation to ban the use of VPNs in order to, quote, prevent internet piracy. The bill aims to undercut what is believed to be a significant media problem of the country. A recent survey conducted by the Danish Chamber of Commerce found that 9% of the population used a VPN specifically to access streaming media available outside of the country. If passed, the bill would go into effect July 1st, 2026, with the responsibility on the VPN providers. In a similar vein, internet providers are also moving to be under attack by U.S. Congress. This past week, a Rhode Island senator, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, announced that he was filing a bill to repeal Section 230 from the Communications Decency Act. The Communications Decency Act is a law that went into effect in 1996 that was an attempt to add regulation to internet content. Section 230 is the highlight marquee of the bill for the protections it gives to internet providers and publishers. No provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Essentially, this means that those who write on the internet are liable for what they write, not those hosting the content or providing the services for getting the content on the internet. As a reminder, this has been announced and has not formally been proposed to any form of Congress. But both of these stories do tie in extremely well into the story we covered earlier, the banning of social media for users under 16 in Australia. ThreatWire from the beginning has been dedicated to informing you about things that are threatening your internet freedom. I think the VPN blockage usage as a target came up at a personally serendipitous time, as I just watched this great video by the YouTube channel Not General Knowledge titled Streaming Crushed Piracy, then brought it back by accident. It's a great overview of the history of piracy, great statistics about how piracy changed with the introduction of streaming platforms, and the state of internet piracy now.
I've linked it below in the show notes if you want to check it out. I really recommend checking it out. It's a really great watch. I'm curious, Threatwire viewers, though, what are your thoughts on these oncoming regulations coming out? The aftershocks of the React 2 shell finding are still actively being combated in the wild. 3 more CVEs were found affecting React and React Native libraries. 2 of the CVEs, CVE 2025-55184 and CVE 2025-67779, are considered high severity with a CVSS score of 7.5, and CVE 2025-55183 is medium severity with a CVSS score of 5.2. All of these CVEs are present in the same packages and versions affected by React 2 shell. The first 2 high-severity CVEs can lead to a denial of service. A well-crafted HTTP request is found to be able to cause a in the React server functions endpoints. Implement these React server function endpoints are still susceptible to this experience. Secrets are viable to be found. Runtime secrets are not effective. Due to the size and popularity of the React framework, many React implementations are still at risk. React has almost 2 billion downloads throughout its entire lifetime and has an average of 20 million downloads weekly. So the number of affected servers is expected to be in the millions. Threat actors from across the globe have been moving fast to attempt to exploit unpatched React servers, install malware, exfil credentials, and add crypto miners. But in cybersecurity, it is not uncommon that when lightning strikes, you can expect it to strike again. Other trending cybersecurity news stories that you might care about summarized for you. OpenAI released a new blog post explaining that they're doubling down on cybersecurity for their new frontier models. They're creating more opportunities for cybersecurity professionals to get involved with making decisions on how to make AI more secure. Apple released emergency updates to patch 2 zero-day CVEs, CVE 2025-43529 and CVE 2025-14174, in response to a vulnerability in WebKit. These findings were discovered by the Google Threat Analysis Group. At the same time, Google released an update to Chrome to fix a zero-day flaw related to the same findings. Thank you so much for watching Threatwire for the week of December 15th, 2025. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to patreon.com/Threatwire. To my Jewish viewers, happy Hanukkah.
There's something happening in Formula One that nobody sees.
The race for the car to look properly.
But it decides every race. Because while the cameras follow the cars, the real battle happens in the invisible space between them. Every lap, each car beams out thousands of data channels at 300 kilometers per hour. So much data that teams say they literally cannot race without it. But here's what's strange. No fan ever sees this data. Teams won't talk about it, and F1 refuses to reveal how they even secure it. And yet, a single corrupted data point can make a team destroy its own race strategy. A radio jammer placed in the right spot could blind an entire pit wall. A spoof tire temperature could cause a catastrophic failure. A hacker has already targeted the team's CEO the night before a Grand Prix, and the official F1 app was breached, meaning the sport's digital perimeter is not nearly as secure as people assume. The cheating, counter-cheating, and corporate espionage in F1 are like some James Bond level stuff. So here's the question. How much of a Formula One race is actually real? And how much is just data we hope hasn't been tampered with? Because if the wrong person ever figured out how to alter just one of those thousands of streams, not even the car, just the numbers the engineers trust, would anyone in Formula One notice before the car hits the wall? What's up, nerds? I'm Addie. I spent 15 years in cybersecurity and a few years obsessing over Formula One. One day, I wondered, what's actually stopping someone from hacking one of these cars mid-race? That question broke my brain, and I spent hundreds of hours digging ever since. Formula One looks like the world's fastest mechanical sport, but almost every race is decided by something you can't see. There's basically a whole second F1 race happening every Grand Prix, and it's all in the data. Each car is wired like a nervous system, but with 250 to 300 sensors, and over 1,500 meters of cabling. A full mile of wire packed into a machine that weighs even less than a vending machine. During a single race weekend, it generates up to 1.5 terabytes of raw telemetry, split across 1,000 to 2,000 channels. Every lap, the car transmits 30 megabytes of real-time information, like GPS, tire temps, engine mapping, suspension loads, fuel mix, battery harvest, and hundreds more, streamed at a millisecond latency through a rotating antenna system at over 200 miles per hour. The data handoffs are happening mid-race, in motion, at speeds comparable to fighter jets. And that stream feeds directly into a live digital twin, which is a full 3D model of the car running in parallel, updated in real time back at the factory, a whole continent away. There's a mirrored control room shadowing the race, watching that model, not the real car, for decision making. Engineers sit behind rows of screens, watching numbers instead of wheels. They monitor thermal drift, performance deltas, red flags, and packet anomalies. If the stream comes off, they call the car in immediately.
Run the car if there's any choice.
That's what an actual team engineer said. The digital twin makes the decisions because teams don't trust the physical car. Instead, they trust the representation of the car reconstructed from those data packets. So if that model gets corrupted, even subtly, it's bad brakes, wrong fuel load, pit stops, blown tires, even DNF. And here's where everything starts to warp. The numbers in that feed are no longer real. Because when the twin goes down, the car loses, but that's when it stops being a racing car. So wire it. A race car can't be a firewall. Altering its temperature data can still cause the car to move its own apart. The telemetry link is the most fragile part of the system, designed with speed in mind rather than withstanding hostile conditions. Packets fly across the system with barely enough encryption to hold together, and no time for deep checks. If one thing slips through, it's too late to stop it. From an attacker's perspective, it's a dream. There are no do-overs mid-race. You can't restart the car or patch telemetry pipelines. Now here's where the physics get weaponized. A fake tire tip can force a premature pit stop, or worse, leave a driver on cold tires headed into a braking zone. False fuel readings can trigger a DNF. Miscalculating to empty, spoofed battery temps can shut down the hybrid system mid-race. RF, or radio frequency interference, can cause strategic pumps during overtakes. Latency exploits can delay a brake-by-wire signal just long enough to cause a lockback. Man-in-the-middle attacks can silently relay tampered signals, hiding changes behind a wall of good checksums. And then there's the full system play, a poisoned digital twin. Feed the model enough fake telemetry and it starts issuing correct decisions for the long reality. That's a strategic kill, and it can happen without a single person in the garage even knowing. So what are teams doing about it? They've gone quiet, and for good reason. But the signs are visible if you know where to look. Top teams now run security operations centers during races. They monitor the RF spectrum for interference signatures. They run real-time anomaly detection on telemetry patterns. And some engineers are even trained to visually spot spoofed waveforms in packet graphs. But there's one question no one wants to answer out loud. What are they even preparing for? Because if all of this is already in place, what's already happened? Incidents that shouldn't be possible. What happened anyway? The hacker was aiming for a person, and that person was the team CEO. The night before race day, a carefully crafted phishing email slipped through, targeted, timed, and convincing enough to pass through layers of corporate security. Had it actually landed, it would have opened a tunnel straight into the decision-making layer of an entire Formula One team. There's a deeper pattern buried under the podium photos and post-race interviews. Remember when fans used to eavesdrop on team radios using cheap radio scanners? And it forced teams to encrypt all internal comms mid-season after it became clear that live strategic data was leaking in real time. Or the time the team engineer's laptop got hit with malware during testing in Barcelona. The entire data was lost. It wasn't even a direct attack on the car, but because the simulation pipeline was interrupted, their predictive models broke. The telemetry stream was fine, but the interpretation of it completely disappeared. That was hours of tire testing wasted. Later, the official Formula One mobile app was also compromised. Fans received bizarre push notifications. The incident was chalked up to unauthorized access and swept aside, but someone, somewhere, found a hole in the digital layer connected to millions of devices during a live race. There's a reason one team, quietly started x-raying their electronic hardware before races. They had found signs of tampering in their hardware. That means malicious components embedded at the supply chain level. The only way to catch it was to scan every board like airport security. And yes, Spygate happened. That's full engineering documents that were leaked, including codes, design secrets, and setup preferences, all copied, exfiltrated, and traded like black market weapons. But not everything came from the inside. One team traced an anomaly in their telemetry back to a rogue receiver. Someone was passively listening to the raw telemetry stream. Nothing was being touched. The data was simply being recorded, and they were logging every brake trace, deployment pattern, and temperature profile. Data like that fed into the opposing simulator can give a massive strategic edge. And then counterfeit card signs like full CAD files started showing up in underground groups, replicated and reverse engineered down to the micron. It raised an unthinkable possibility. Someone was capturing both the data coming out of the car and the fingerprint of how it was built. Those stories barely scratched the headlines. In any other sport, one of these incidents would have been an earth-shattering scandal. But in Formula One, it barely makes the news. But they all share one thing in common. Every single attack, exploit, and breach, whether it's digital, physical, or psychological, were aimed at the invisible infrastructure behind the car. So why isn't anyone talking about where these attacks are really hitting? Because they point to something much stranger and much harder to fix. Imagine defending a live system that can't stop, can't patch, and can't ever be wrong, even for 1 millisecond. That's the starting line for Formula One cybersecurity. Let's strip it down to the physics. The car can't stop during a threat. There's no reboot protocol at 320 kilometers per hour. You can't validate telemetry deeply because the checks take too long. You can't encrypt heavily because it adds latency. You can't reroute packets. The RF spectrum is saturated and already optimized to the edge. The data stream has to transmit globally in real time, with 10 milliseconds of latency to Europe and up to 300 milliseconds to Australia. And all of it has to survive extreme temperatures, weather conditions, high G-forces, and interference from a dozen competing cars running the same tech. In a traditional network, when things go sideways, you isolate, reboot, run diagnostics, and patch. But in Formula One, by the time you've done that, the race is over. So the only option is prevention without any delay. You have to detect the intrusion before it ever manifests. And here's where it gets worse. The telemetry infrastructure is shared. That means if one vulnerability exists in that shared pipeline, every team gets exposed all at once. If someone finds the right packet structure, the right offset, the right injection points, they compromise the sport. And the people defending it are working under the most brutal constraints in cybersecurity. And this is coming from someone with 8 years in the US Air Force securing fighter jets. You have no room for false positives, no time for slow scans, and no second chances. So how do you secure something that's too fast to filter, too fragile to pause, and too interconnected to isolate? There's an answer, but it's not comforting. Because when I trace the weak points through the system, they all converge on the same place. And that's where I found the real threat, one no team can outrun. When they trace every weak point we've talked about, like telemetry fragility, global streaming, shared hardware, and milliseconds only decision windows, they don't point to one single villain. They point to an entire design philosophy. Formula One has evolved into a distributed computing system that just happens to be strapped to 4 tires. The car is a cloud-connected supercomputer moving at 220 miles per hour, running thousands of real-time calculations per second across a wireless link that cannot slow down. Every lap is a synchronization ritual between physical reality and the digital model that teams trust more than their own eyes. That architecture creates traps that no single team can patch away. First, there's the single telemetry backbone. Formula One uses a standardized sport-wide telemetry and RF ecosystem. That's a shared dependency. That means one set of assumptions, protocols, and one global spine every car has to plug into. They also have standardized ECUs and radio hardware. Teams build wildly different cars, but they rely on the same core components that make the attack surface partially uniform. Next, there's global distribution mid-race to the pit wall, but no, it's much more incredible. It splashes across continents to factory mission control rooms and cloud simulation clusters back home. Stretch a system across thousands of miles, and you inherit every weakness of wide area networking, like latency variance, routing quirks, transient loss, and exposure to anything sitting between endpoints. Then you have remote mission control dependencies. Race engineers read telemetry, then steer strategy through it. It's truly remarkable. Then there's tire windows. That means energy deployment, undercut timing, cooling modes, differential settings, and all of it flows from the digital twins version of reality. There's no time for human verification. On the track, there's no practical way to sanity check an anomaly by hand. If the sensor says the tire surface temperature is spiking, you react in milliseconds, under pressure at top speed. And lastly, there's growing complexity every season. Every year adds new sensors, channels, models, and layers. The surface area the cars get faster, the link has to get faster. The link gets faster, so the checks get thinner. The checks get thinner, so the model becomes easier to nudge. This goes beyond one exploit or bad actor. It's the entire structure of the whole system. So by now, the question changes shape to something uglier and more exciting. If the system is built to be fragile, in exactly the places attackers love, how do defenders keep up without slowing the sport down? Right now, while you're watching overtakes, another race is happening quietly and relentlessly. Teams treat every Grand Prix like a live fire cybersecurity exercise. Everyone knows the stack has to hold, so they build layers that don't mess with the milliseconds. Here's what that looks like in the real world of Formula One operations. First, dedicated cybersecurity crews on race weekends. Some teams run full SOC-style war rooms alongside strategy. Their job is to stare at the invisible, stuff like packet integrity, RF spectrum anomalies, baseline drift, timing jitter, and anything that smells like interference instead of physics. Next, there's RF spectrum monitoring like air traffic control. They sweep for jamming signatures, rogue transmitters, odd bursts and forbidden bands, and subtle noise patterns that wouldn't show up in normal telemetry graphs. Next, there's telemetry anomaly detection tuned to racing physics. Most anomaly detection hunts for weird, but Formula One hunts for weird at 300 kilometers per hour. The models know what the tire temps should do at turn 7, what battery state should look like after full deployment, and what brake tracing should resemble in wet conditions. Any deviation is flagged fast. There's engineer training for gut check moments. They drill their teams to spot telemetry that's technically plausible, but contextually wrong. Then there's hardware inspection and supply chain paranoia. This is just methodical. Teams validate components, scan electronics, log firmware baselines, and lock down their build pipelines. If the sport runs on shared infrastructure, the only leverage left is making sure your slice stays clean. Then there's FIA cybersecurity regulation steering. The governing body has started pushing for tighter standards around comms, telemetry pathways, and operational security across teams. Then there's next-gen cryptography research, which is the most fascinating to me. They're testing encryption schemes designed for brutal time constraints, lightweight enough to survive a 1 to 2 millisecond budget, strong enough to resist modern attacks, and resilient to RF chaos. This doesn't make Formula One safe forever, but now it's safe enough to keep trusting at the speed of reality. And that's the magic of this whole story. Formula One teams are doing so much more than simply building a perfect event. It's more akin to keeping a living digital organism coherent while it streams through space, faster than most networks can even play. Because the next World Championship may not be decided on the track, but in the race to protect the data that drives the car. And if even one number in that data stream is wrong, the entire sport collapses. If the telemetry in Formula One sounded intense, your own car is collecting far more than you think, and the story gets even stranger in the next video. I'll meet you there.
Everyone, God bless you. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're getting ready for Christmas. I hope your heart is beginning to dance in anticipation of celebrating our Savior's birth. Angels are front and center at this time of year in the celebration of the church. And I'd like to speak with you a little bit about your guardian angel, and especially about not tormenting your angel. It's the teaching of the church and our experience, the experience of believers for 2,000 years, that we receive in holy baptism a guardian angel. The language of the baptismal service is quite clear about this. The celebrant, the priest performing the baptism, prays, yoke to his life a radiant angel. We think that yoking takes place in the baptismal service. In fact, angels and demons are front and center in the baptismal service. I did a lecture on this in my series on demonology, which you can find on the Twisted Nectar app. If you want to explore the teaching of the baptismal service, which is so profound about the angelic realm and the demonic realm. Jesus, our Lord, of course, spoke about guardian angels in a famous passage in the 18th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, where the Lord says, speaking of little children, their angels always behold the face of my Father who is in heaven. This is not the first place we learn about guardian angels in the scriptures, of course. King David in the Psalms reflects upon the guardian angel. This is in Psalm 33. Verse 8, he writes, the angel of the Lord encamps around about those who fear him and delivers them. St. Basil the Great, in his commentary on that psalm, on Psalm 33, illumines us about the meaning of this. He says, quote, everyone who has believed in the Lord has an angel always near him, unless we drive him away by our evil deeds. For just as smoke makes bees withdraw and foul smells drive away doves, so sin, lamentable and stinking, drives away the angel who is guardian of our lives. If you have in your soul works worthy of angelic protection, God will place by you protectors and keepers, and will surround you with an angelic guard. And note the power of the angelic nature, that one angel is likened to an entire encampment. Just as walls are built around cities and deter enemy attacks from all quarters, so likewise does the angel protect you on all sides like a bulwark. What beautiful word from St. Basil the Great about the value of the guardian angel. How loving the Lord God is to provide us with the care of a guardian angel. So powerful, so nourishing, so uplifting for we who live through the trials of this life, to know the presence of our guardian angel, to include that guardian angel in your life, to acknowledge his presence, to speak to him, to pray to him and ask for his help, to give thanks to him in deliverances, to have an icon of your guardian angel. This is some custom. Guardian angel. There are beautiful texts. You can even read a canon to your guardian angel on a regular basis. There's a story from the life of St. Macarius the Great that is about the guardian angel, and particularly applies to our theme, which is don't torment your guardian angel. I'd like to read you just a snippet from that story. St. Macarius the Great is in Constantinople, and one day the saint encounters a noble young man weeping outside a den of vice. This is like outside of a whorehouse, outside of prostitution. So we have so many of those in growing all the time, unfortunately, in our country. They should all be illegal. They should all be banished. But in fact, they're multiplying like crazy. Many dens of vice, not just whorehouses, but casinos with all sorts of awful things. One day the saint encountered this nobleman weeping outside a den of vice. The youth had his face buried in his hands and wailed and made such loud lamentation that you would think heaven itself wept with him. Can you imagine the scene? St. Macarius finds this young man. He's got his hands in his head. He's just crying his eyeballs out, but not quietly, with lamentation so great it's as though all heaven is joining him. So Macarius went up to him and asked him to explain the reason for his sadness. The youth answered, "Glorious servant of God, I am by nature an angel." As every Christian receives an angel from God at the time of his baptism, it was given to me to protect this man here, but I'm filled with sorrow when I see him sinning, as he is doing now in this den of vice. How could I not lament over the image of God, which has been reduced to such darkness? Oof. St. Macarius responded to him, Why don't you admonish him? And the angel replied, I have no right to go near him. Since he began to sin, he is the slave of the demons, and I have no authority over him. Think of that when you're tempted to watch pornography. Think of that when you're tempted to succumb to a sin of the flesh, like this poor man who had become the devil's slave was. You know, we pray in the litanies of Vespers, Orthros, and the Divine Liturgy, all three, our most important services. We pray in those services for an angel of peace, a faithful guide, a guardian of our souls and bodies. Let us ask of the Lord. Angels are front and center in every day liturgically, and especially at this sacred season of Advent, in which we are preparing ourselves for celebrating the nativity in the flesh of our Lord and God and sweet Savior, Jesus Christ. The angels are leading us in the celebration of the nativity, as they always have. Of course, it was an angel, the great Archangel Gabriel, who announced the conception of Christ in the womb of the Virgin Mary. The Annunciation on March 25th is celebrated 9 months, of course, before the birth of Christ. The angels heralded in the heavens, singing the great doxology, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill among men. That hymn that we sing in every service of at the end of the Festal Orthros, before we begin the Divine Liturgy, is a hymn we learn from the angels on how to praise the Lord, especially for the coming of Christ. When we sin, dear ones, we don't just grieve the Lord Christ himself, but we torment our guardian angel. Let's live in such a way, you and me, with God's help. Let's live in such a way as to please the Lord and to bring a smile to the face of our guardian angel. May the Lord grant that to us. Let us join the angels this nativity in singing the praise of the God-man, Theanthropos, our Lord Christ, whose birth in the flesh we celebrate in just a few days. I offer you best wishes for a most sublime celebration of Christmas. God be with you all.
Oh yeah, videotape. Okay. Right. you too. Right. All right. Actually, you know,
So
You could rumble.
Morning. How are you, Vicky? Going to domestic. Virgin, so we'll be there in around 20 minutes. Let me know the temperature, okay? Because cold or hot, I can change it.
Someone else's time. Oh my God, message from me.
Thank you. We have a great day. Have a good holidays. Thank you. All the best. Crazy.
Nonsense. So, but seeing 5 to 10 years, that's kind of crazy. I thought they could just hard fork it or something like that.
So these stocks that you're kind of looking at, they've been looking at, they're just like quantum computing executing stocks? Just
Oh, quantum. The stocks that I'm in, they're just like the most common ones, like D-Wave, Rigetti, Q. Yeah, those all popped today. Let's see, D-Wave, they're up like 18%. These are very small gains in crypto. Don't understand for stocks. These are like percent, and Q is 11%. I want to say it's because of the analysts saying that they can soar 92% next year, but it could be other factors. I know government's been headlining it as well, and then I think D-Wave got that extra push because they announced that they're going to be presenting at CES, meaning they have to have some kind of product, right? So that's bullish news, and that's a month away. It's in January, so yeah.
Bro, my friend told me to buy QBTS at like under like $2 like a year and a bit ago.
That's it.
Yeah, he's actually like, that's why I'm trying to get into stocks like next year. Like his calls have been insane. He's in like lunar like space stocks too. He always like front runs the next narrative. I don't know how he does it, but he's kind of killing it.
space stocks. Like SpaceX sort of is out there. I know we were like talking about it first. Like, oh shit, SpaceX is about to IPO at these prices. So that is SpaceX. But like there were
Rocket Lab and Lunar were the top two ones, and ASTS. Like they just went kind of insane.
it's like just these assets. But guess what the hell's happening? I forget about it. Like it's that's what's happening. Actually, this is reputation. I think even with like just Trump being like it's just like considers. How are you doing it?
Good, bro. Like I see the lighter shit going $4. Awesome, man. Excited for that shit. So, yeah, I'm just literally just waiting for like the next 7 days, bro, because I'm trying to like mentally prepare and just try to get some nice trades on day one and shit.
So it did trade already. Like that it's like that wall that did like do you know what each point will probably like what yeah it'll be probably
83?
oh sure it's not bad.
Obscure.
It's a good show. Huge attendance for that, but still want to have some fun and hang out with some people. And we're just gonna have, I think, a shorter kind of event. So people show up and say, let's turn off the heat. We'll oblige. But yeah, no, looking forward to having some time with family. We learned over the last few years, like if you're with family, at least with us, it's like, the shorter the better. Sometimes is, you don't want to stay too long, but yeah, it's just my family. So, it's gonna be good to get a little close to family and get back for New Year's. So yeah, like next game time as well is gonna be on New Year's Eve. So it's kind of just falling exactly those dates, right? Yeah, New Year's Eve. So the plan is to kind of go out with that as well, and then just kind of see what people are saying, and combine with other things people are into. But yeah, so that's coming up. Raffles coming up as well too. So that should be fun.
I feel being nominated on the categories.
Oh, good. I mean, good. Yeah, I know. It definitely feels really good. I know the community's been, really active in other side. I mean, they're really enjoying it. The second, the other side opened up and they had the docs and stuff, you're getting, messages after messages like, yeah.
And thank you, Elizabeth, for knowing who to ask to be co-host today. I'm now done and will land my plane.
Nice. How was your
Happy birthday, Ken. Clark Ken.
Thank you.
How would you like our space to go today? Bonnie and I are at your beck and call. I'm gonna cry.
Not. Speak for yourself, Kitty. No,
I'm gonna cry. Let me cry. I'm going to cry. I've never experienced this laugh in the beginning. I don't know. Oh my God, I'm gonna tell you a story.
Elizabeth, can you also tell them who the honorary co-host is?
Oh yes, yes,
disrespectful.
Of course. So Crystal is an honorary co-host. So we have a rule: we cannot interrupt co-hosts because they will mute everyone. Dump everyone. That's a tradition of Bonnie. So it's like Bonnie set it up. So now it's kind of like a co-host. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to know why are you interrupting Howard? So I just muted everybody because that is there for a reason, and I have to respect my boss. And my boss at current state is Elizabeth. I feel like old good days because I feel like it's wonderful. This is awesome. Oh, the cake is amazing. I'm in love. I didn't know I'm going to be in love on Monday, but I'm in love on Monday. But yeah, if it's going to be very toxic today, that would be so good. So co-hosts can interrupt, can do whatever they want. Ideally, just so not speakers don't drop because, like speakers still love some. But except Jay. If Jay drops, it happens.
No, I love it because somebody muted the space and that doesn't happen. That's a bad sign. You don't mute the space within the first 10 minutes. That's whack.
Yeah, well, call me Hackadoodle. That should be my nickname. I don't mind. I'm literally here with a burden of responsibility. And I just, no, for real life though, this is Elizabeth's space and now I'm honestly, I want to do what's right by Elizabeth.
Will you be our honorary co-host for the rest of the time?
Of course, absolutely. It would be my pleasure.
Not in my space.
I actually don't know you ever having spaces today, but that's okay.
Yeah, they're in different time zone, Kate. So.
Y'all, I have been cheesing this entire Like, this is so good. It's like kids that have been so bad, and finally the nanny comes and like spanks all of them into submission, and you're just sitting back watching, like, wow, we've been trying for months.
Well,
and we couldn't figure it out.
Well, Crystal, see, the thing is, I have 3 driver licenses from 2 different countries. You know, I have 3 different passports from 3 different countries. And I all say I'm over 21, right? So it's like, I don't need a nanny.
Okay, very good. Then.
That was a monologue right there.
You know, Jay has a government identity that says he's not a child. He can prove it. That's what he can just say.
Miss Elizabeth, how to I'm like, how to recognize what is identify like clearly we've seen evidently that it's not just to do with relationships, but because
Highlight actually.
Yeah, this is crazy. The title and the photos in this way. That's what they're trying to tell us.
I wanted to tell you all the times that the kids inspired me on this when I was talking. And so we had 2 times today. It's not related to manipulation, but that's just my life. That's just man in my life. So we had Danish today, like in the morning. And the guy who was doing coffee at the like Danish sport, he did coffee for me and for Polina. And Polina was waiting in another, she was waiting at the port. So he was giving me this coffee. And I'm like, please, I'm going to pay this card. And he's like, oh, your trainer already paid for it. I was like, it's on the trainer. But I was like, there's no way he just paid for it because that's man and like he's not capable of that. So I didn't know what to say because I didn't want to say thank you, and then he would be like, no, I was joking. Like, what are you talking about? So I was just like muted, like I muted myself as some speakers should do. So I muted myself. I went back to Polina and I was like, I'm not sure, but it seems like he paid. But like, I'm not sure. Should I go and give him cash then? Like, what should I do? And I never said thank you. And now he doesn't even smile. Yeah, I guess it's
Christmas bonus, by the way. That's end of the year. You do really nice for your clients. You get good bonus because you get that bonus.
Not only that, just in Greece, people from this country.
What? They're Christians. They're Christians in Greece. That's so funny.
There's not the majority, it's the minority.
But Christmas is also a secular holiday.
I do think it's
Definitely Christmas. Just they work for tips.
well, if we go back to the beginning in the presidency, David co-hosts or Elizabeth, and also Christelle is an honorary co-host, so just for the record there.
We all are honorary co-hosts.
No, there's one honorary co-host today. Thank you.
You're the honorary female. I'm the honorary male. Duh.
Well, anyway, I do feel that this is very manipulative behaviour, Elizabeth. You're absolutely right, because now you are beholden to a coffee where you're now going to have to keep going back to the train.
This is why.
No.
You cannot be a gentleman in 2025 anymore. You can't buy a woman a coffee without.
Jay, it's because it's so rare that women literally don't know how to behave. They're like, what's happening here? They're so confused. So the thing is, it's just normalize it. Because Elizabeth, the thing is here, to be like, you can even just tell the guy that. Be like, thank you so much for the coffee. I was so confused by it that I didn't know what to say for a day. But seriously, thank you. I loved having it. It's great meeting you.
You don't even say, Yasu, and that's the, yeah, Deliata, Sopapa, and then just please.
Yeah, just take it as a compliment. He's not trying to manipulate you to anything. He's just trying to be a gentleman.
I know.
That's the only buy you coffee. That was pretty rare. That's the only why you already got.
That's
Like, what the fuck? Did buy you any roll?
The bars in hell. The bars in hell. It's like lower than hell. But of that low, one, you have noticed that the Jay is posting some weird posts about someone that I guess if it's a fantasy woman that he's in love with, but I'm not sure, like, I cannot prove it, you know, like, I know.
He's a free agent, but he reserved.
I'm no longer
You're no longer a free agent? Are you claiming her publicly? Or is this secret?
Sharing this space. No. We have literally got a line of people trying to get into this space to speak. This is phenomenal.
Katie, I love you. But you keep really the flow of the conversation.
What season are we in? Is this a new season? Because Jay is over here. He's off I go out of the country. I come back. Jay has what was a hangout 5 minutes ago is now he's off the market. Katie is just like we're elevated to a whole. What is going on here? Is this a new season?
It's going to be complicated. In a week, you know this with Jay. He changed girls, changed bodies.
No, that is not true. This is the first time I've been listening. Y'all don't listen. Like, I'm thinking everybody, y'all don't listen. I have never heard from the very beginning to every day. I have, which is all the way back to July, y'all. I know it's December. This is all the way back to July. Okay? I have never been saying I am not a free agent until now. That's why I said. That's why I said.
Still, it's November of the previous 2 seasons. It's full removes. Let's go.
I have selected memories
I just heard about this episode where I exposed and I'm like, he's hallucinating. What do you think on it?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Oh my god. Maybe I should point out this is my identity, my different types.
That right there. That right there is manipulation.
Oh, I'm manipulated.
I'm saying to Jay, he's got the brother.
No, I wasn't talking about that. But that right there is what you just said is manipulation right now, right there. I was talking about that before, but now it is. Yeah. But I was talking about you guys gaslighting me. He's never been a free agent in real life. He changes the underwear.
Like, I do have ADHD, and I'm trying to keep up with every conversation because for real life, I take my role of responsibility really seriously. I really do. I was trying to listen. Because Elizabeth, have you sent me a message about your expectations? Oh my god, this is so Katie. If we can have a conversation, if we need anything, you can chime in. But right now, we're literally having a conversation. Well, thank you, and I appreciate that, Ani, and that's why I love you. So. Oh,
Honey, Orson here. Honey, this is Eric. I had a thought for Elizabeth. Can I share? It's a good one.
okay, but when are we going to get back to Jay and his
His imaginary girlfriend. Crystal, have you checked his post? It's like every post is about some imaginary woman, and then I go to comments, and there is literally Oni who's like, who the fuck are you talking about? I can swear to God he's having some fantasy. And then he said, Crystal said like posting this, like it's like me posting thirst traps. So for whatever reason, I think that he's just hallucinating. I just want to say the man.
Do you think that that's public manipulation from Jay's stuff? Right. Single women thinking that he's off the market so that they become maybe his dancer, right?
Jay, what do you say to its fans? I can't think that someone is texting him unless he texts someone.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean,
dating a lady the last time. I don't believe that on it. I do not believe that any single woman that acts is texting him like it's anyone, you know, like you. Oh my gosh. I don't believe that.
Yeah. I haven't seen Jay Jackson over a year.
Yeah, you gotta go to his posted spaces. The ones that he hosts, that's where you see the ladies that like come in and you don't see them in any other spaces. You only see them. And then they even make up like cute little words to describe their unique relationship with Jay. And then another one.
You need a strong stomach, Elizabeth. You need a strong stomach.
You don't have this relationship that we have. Yeah, it's right.
His game is so shit. His game is so good. He doesn't have to show his face.
I know, but I just clicked on his profile picture. I did look and I was like, oh.
He has a helmet. Like he's
But you know, the guys that says bad boy, you know, like you're gonna get it.
like retarded boy with a helmet. Like you can't see anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
if I could speak on his
Girls are suckers. He's a slow front.
Have you ever seen Jerry? What's the Jerry's kid where they do the fundraiser every year for the special kids? I mean, even those kids are sweet. They give them money, so yeah, that's why Jade gets all the love. And
Jay when he posts his face. Yeah, when
I'm
he posts
joking.
his face.
I'm there.
So
I know I'm there.
Acting
They
like
do.
little brother.
They really do.
Yeah, he'd be all.
Now I've been to his face.
That's back now. Genius. A few other names in that sports wrestling. The only interesting thing to me about investing in sports never been like this team brands. That's cool, I guess, but it's been the money flow, right? Like betting. And this year, I think that did change. Like, I think the prediction markets thing is a real bad. I think the speed at which regulatory response, the speed at which they killed the regulatory response. That's what I think. Yeah, I just don't.
DraftKings might double rate.
Yeah,
I have no idea where the stock is right now. But that would be quite the catalyst for DraftKings.
Oh yeah, I would trade the hell out of
Before.
that happened. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, if they ban sports betting markets, they'll be all over. But if they don't, then
Doesn't seem like it's gonna happen.
yeah, I don't think so.
It's on the federal level. They're not going to ban it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Trump administration, like the Trumps are involved. I think Trump Jr. now is on the board, call sheet. So, but you think that that's going to happen? I don't know. I don't think so.
I think that what would be actually pretty bullish for a lot of these prediction market stocks is if they're able to get a lot of these. I guess it wouldn't just be a prediction markets, but just sports betting in general. I mean, California, I can't even use FanDuel or anything like that. Cash, like at these points. Who the hell is doing it with points? But if they start enabling that, or if they start legalizing it on the state front, New York and California, last place, that might actually be very challenging for the prediction markets. You know, you don't necessarily have to ban it on the federal level, but you can start to.
Okay, Rich, give us your best machine gun. It's better. You gotta rinse it. You gotta do that. Yeah, take Trisha's. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Rich, you got one in there for us?
Got one what?
You got a machine gun sound for us?
Oh, yeah. You actually got to close your mouth, and then you just go. Spit all over the fucking place.
That was a lot of spit.
That sure was, dog.
That's what it sounds like when I don't give advanced warning.
I guarantee you, if I asked Lady Law LL to come up, she could also not do a machine gun sound. In fact, if there's any ladies in the audience who feel like they can do the spitting mouth close thing, I would love to hear it. I'm gonna have to clean up before the show. All the spit.
You know, everyone down there is trying to make a machine gun sound, and there's just like spit flying. The DJs are spitting.
I bet you Noob has the best one. Guaranteed.
100%. The way he murks kids on Fortnite, he can fucking machine gun. I guarantee you he makes a kill and then makes a sound. That's how good it is. So fucking bad thing. Preach, we're talking about all the tea. What do you think of the fucking drama with Dr. Robotnik and Alchemist? Before you go, I just want to remind everyone that we here at TTFC warned you all that the Alk feud was coming. It always happens. They like get some fight over the fact that the tea got too real. Preach, what do you think?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? Number 1. So,
On the other side.
on the other side. 22. Yeah. Thank you. All good. Thank you. Have a good day.
Are a sick. Yeah. Right? And it's, listen, how the fuck would Tom hit you? Right? He hasn't done it with a child, but he's done it to grown women. Right? So a sex predator regardless, but especially, I'm telling you, if I could meet up with Ez, I would need a paycheck. I'd beat the fucking brakes off that faggot. Right? Who knew the whole time he was saying, I'm gonna take what you love? He was talking about your fucking kid. He was talking about your kid. He's gonna fuck your kid. I'm telling you. So be aware of who you shine light on. Just saying, you know. It's good to get the information out there, let people know that you're dealing with pieces of shit and predators. But I don't know, man. I really ain't got nothing for it. I'd like to see an obituary.
I mean, I love that you brought this up. So yesterday when this news hit my desk, I was like, fuck, how do I publicize this in a way that, well, one, like, think about protecting the people that are involved. He's got a whole family that has obviously had to go through this. So, and it's like very personal information. Again, the idea of doxing in CTMC, we try to uphold degen code rules here. I'm really glad that you brought it up. Preach, are you comfortable with reading the text?
That's what I fucking came here for. About. I was comfortable with me reading this shit.
Yeah, I want you to read it.
Here we go.
Shout out to the Epstein Files.
Yeah. All right, so on April 25th.
Wait, I have a question. Hold on.
Yeah.
So we are 100% verified that this is the man, that this information is that man.
Yeah.
We're 100% sure that that's him.
Yeah, I verified. So listen, I'm really good at doxing people too. I've been doing it for a long time. I did it before Robotnik. I was doxed. I was forced doxed back in the day. And so I don't have any soft spot for your anonymity. I can give a fuck less, right? If you cross me, I will take that away from you as well. I'm with it. I'm with the bullshit. I don't mind it.
Morning, Adam.
This,
Good, thank you. How are you?
and then I
Excellent.
went down my avenue with what information he had, and it's all. Did not do a great job trying to get background.
Sorry.
Background, right? Because you have to register. These are registered sex offenders.
Well, and for those of you that are asking this question, it actually goes back even further. So,
Going High Marcus, Sydney. Yeah. 45th Street. We'll be there in less than 20 minutes. Let me know if it gets hot or cold. I can change it.
We talked about it a little bit on the last show. And the irony also is for the longest time, I was a teacher from Tennessee that fucked with students. Now, those of you that know me know I'm from Vancouver. I never lived in Tennessee. So it's just another one of those, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What you project on other people is like what's in your dirty skeleton's closet. And the easiest way to verify this was when pressure washing company info came online. We were able to verify this person's name and his location. And then from there, the spiral of information went to this. Really easy to find. Actually, same deal with Sarah, not sexual deviancy, but the bankruptcy information found. We were able to verify because she has so much personal information last name online that you can track this is the correct person that we are talking about. So there's been a lot of doxing between and people have different feelings about it, right? You don't know how old it does,
also understand what you're saying in the sense of sometimes you want to know what you're backing, even if you don't need to do so. And this is one of those situations where it's like these allegations are much more than just allegations. It's not an allegation. It's that has to register. The information is available to the public online. Part of the reason why he has so many businesses is because he has to have his own business to work. And for the longest time, he was telling all of you guys that you guys also catch Facebook police department picking up this one that even like the FBI or the state police, this would be Secret Service. Right? So on April 26, 2004, they were part of an undercover operation aimed at combating child exploitation on the internet. United States Secret Service Special Agent Timothy Devine entered an internet chat room using the screen name Lisa. Observed a public message by a user employing a sexually graphic name, which was later traced to the defendant Williams. Public message stated, "Dad on top has pics of her and me for swap of your toddler pics or like especially as we said Miami Beach, Williams as in a private internet chat during which they swapped non-pornographic my couch in a bathing suit and 5 photographs of a 1 to 2-year-old female in various non-sexual poses. One of which was the child with her breasts exposed and her pants down below her waist. Police in Miami sent a non-sexual photo of a college-aged female digitally repressed to appear to be 10 to 12 years old. That claim was her daughter. After the initial photo exchange, Williams claimed that he had nude photographs of his 4-year-old daughter, stating, I've got hardcore pictures of me and my daughter and other guys eating her out. Do you? End quote. Williams asked for additional photos from the agent. When these pictures were not received, Williams accused the agent of being a cop. The agent responded by accusing Williams of being a cop. After repeating these accusations in a public forum, Williams has posted, "Here, real, I can put up links. I'm real. He can't." The message that he posted was followed by a computer hyperlink, which Special Agent Devine accessed. The computer hyperlink contained, among other things, 7 images of actual minors engaging in sexual contact. The nude children in the photos were between the ages of 5 and 15, displaying their genitals and or engaging in sexual activity. Secret Service agents executed a search warrant as his home. 2 computer hard drives seized. During the search, held at least 22 additional images of actual minors engaged in sexual conduct or displaying genitalia. Most of these images depicted prepubescent children and also depicted sadomasochistic conduct and other depictions of gays. One count of promoting and pandering and 1 count of
Perhaps we try to make it. It's important for you guys to know that this is what we have. Like, maybe you get to decide, maybe you
Just ask the truth of the just want to also not say we're sticking up for left, right, and between. I think it's very important actually information that we're trying to obtain and trying to like speak out is correct. Because if that was wrong in any shape or form, defamation or so many other things. So not sticking up and just saying there's nothing wrong with asking questions, just like in crypto, right? Do the same thing too.
And that's why, like, for those of you that don't know, that's why we pose everything as a question. CTMD protects our own apps. And in regards to Sarah and talking about this, I mean, the last crash of clip that we got from Sarah, I'll try to pull it up on the timeline. And this night you can do that. If you don't mind, I'll pull up the crash of clip. But she screams at the top of her lungs, what you're doing right now is illegal. It's hilarious. We'll try to get it. But even with her, it's a first and last name that's available for search on web. And there's a lot of information that comes up with that name. So we have to find out which bit of information under that name is correctly. But we do that. So reverse search is on Google Police. And I'm like asking you to do this. So that if something like this ever happens to you, you get into a role that you know is taken to real life consequences. You know what they're gonna find. Me, I feel squeaky clean. I've never been in the back of a cruiser. I don't know what that life is like. So it's all good for me. Too rich, take away.
Just a bit of maintenance too. It's like it can be very thin for some people, especially if you mess with the wrong person. A lot of these other things. So yeah, just exercising. Like that's why I've always kind of been like.
Thank you. Have a great day. Happy holidays.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you.
Want to come knock on my door, I feel bad for whoever comes to knock on my door. And it does kind of take that Teflon fucking skin to be able to survive out here. And you need to know who you're playing with. A lot of these folks, they don't have a life outside of X. This is their whole world. And for those of you that are listeners that pull up to all the shows, you guys are the lore keepers. You have all of the information. And that's why I think I get really bullish on like having real people in the GC that have pulled up to these shows, that have listened to all of the bullshit that's gone on the timeline. There's so much power in that. If we can take that back and understand that we move the markets, that we have all the information, that we decide, we'll be able to take on whatever we want out of that. And Lamb Chop made a good point today on the timeline. I reshared it on my account. But it was essentially like, you need to listen more and talk less. Because those of us that know what we're doing, we are wallflowers. We are here taking it all in. I was doing that for years before I did CTMC. And I'm grateful for the shit, because if it didn't exist, CTMC wouldn't be here right now. And I fucking love what we do. Hello to Sandra. It's good to have you up here. What do you think of everything? I hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I just wanted to pop up and say I've been I don't know everything said, but I did catch what went free. I had said a few minutes ago, and I just wanted to kind of touch base on that. I've seen this play out before. I've watched when, unverified accusations, and I don't know what to do. Just check that. I don't think it's funny, but whatever. But I've watched unverified accusations spread really quickly, and it's happened to people in the space. It's happened to you, where people are saying that you're a pedophile teacher from Tennessee, and people reached out to me to ask if that was true, like stuff like that. So when things like that get thrown around, they're taken seriously for someone, even if they turn out not to be true. Like once it's out there, you don't really get it back. And I think this deserves a lot more care and critical thinking out of us. Like these are serious accusations of real people, and they shouldn't be treated casually or about like their pictures. So for me, until I see
look at the Thunderdome, and you can see that you have long up.
It is finished. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So for me,
Let
until
her
I see
finish.
things like court documents, a verified sex offender registry, and for credible reporting that clearly ties a real person to a real case, I can't go there. I can't read dumbass tweets. I can't look at potentially doctored screenshots. Like again, this is serious, and without evidence that meets reasonable standard, I'm not comfortable with discussing or endorsing it. It's just basic critical thinking and being fair. Reasonable doubt.
It was already tried.
I don't know this person.
You sound stupid.
Do I?
What?
You sound dumb.
No, you sound fucking
Yeah, you sound dumb.
Disrespectful.
There's case law.
How disrespectful.
Did you Google any of it? Did you go on the registry?
What is case law?
Or did you just come up here to banter on a pedophile team?
Yeah.
You're stupid.
What is?
You look dumb.
Can you explain? Oh, then please educate me. What is case law?
Are you?
So disrespectful, dude. Why have to be like that?
But you're sitting here preaching about it, preach that. Yeah, I look stupid.
You are stupid.
So I had to redact some of the content that's going to come out on the timeline today. But when the docs occurred and then the voice was matched and then we had access to the company information, that's when all of these dots connected. It's the easiest way that I can say this. And it's tough. It's tough, and it is in the GC. That's part of it.
But that's what I mean. And I'm totally fine with that. Like, again, if there's proof that hasn't been posted out there, that's
Yeah, if it's evidence, yeah.
by people talking shit in Twitter spaces or people just sharing tweets or screenshots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
if there is verifiable evidence out there, then I can get behind that. Like, just they're talking shit. And listen, Jeff, you talk a lot of shit in the past, so nothing I can say I take serious. To be quite honest, so you can't blame someone that is a critical thinker, and wants.
I'm not mad at you for being a critical thinker. What I'm mad at is there's all the proof that you're asking for in the GC, and you came up to defend a pedophile without reading.
Everybody was saying that there needs to be
I don't think she was defending the pedophile. I think she was saying do your own due diligence. I think
And also, this was what we were talking about at the beginning of this conversation when somebody else in the GC asked a question they were fucking jumped on, and it became like a 2-hour thing about how stupid they were for asking questions. And then Web3 came up and said, you know, it's important to ask. We need to make sure that the information is verifiable. Also, Sandra was with me through the entire Tennessee pedophile shit, and there was a fucking ton of backlash from that. People were like, is she from Tennessee? Is she Canadian? And Sandra had to be the one to be like, yeah, guys, like, she's Canadian and not from Tennessee. And it came from this dude where all this shit is going down now. So everybody is valid in what they're saying right now. And Sandra was late to the conversation because she was in another space listening to what they were saying about us over there. So it's just, we're crossing some lines of communication here, but it is all in the GC and it is all fucking wild. And I didn't know how I was going to be able to put it out on the timeline. So Preach, thanks for coming up and doing it, because I couldn't have done it.
Sandra, I apologize for coming off aggressive. Here's my thing: is I wouldn't have shared it if I wouldn't have verified it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty serious about my shit like that. It's something I'm passionate about. I think everybody should protect kids. And it's just the angle you kind of came up with calling them accusation. It's not an accusation, right? It's charges that were filed. Prison time was done. He is a registered sex offender, right? And so when you came up and you kind of cast that shadow of doubt, it's like, okay, well, you're either defending him or you're ignorant, right? And so I'm glad to see that it's the ignorant, right? Do us all a favor in yourself and use that due diligence to go in there and read that shit.
Now, this is...
Yeah, I just want to say,
Go ahead.
sorry, I just quickly want to say, it is, I did say an accusation because it wasn't proven to me yet. So to me, when I hear things like that, to me it is accusatory until I see proof. So, and I don't think, in depth semantics and all this shit here, but I definitely do think that you need to do your due diligence. I've seen it happen to other people in this space. I've seen it with people's reputations, and people got it wrong. We've seen it time and time again. I'm not defending anybody. I'm just saying, you just have to do your research, and that's it.
So the research is there for you all in the GC if you want to read it. For me, I can't stomach hearing it more than one time. I just can't. And it's interesting, but lately I don't have the clip. Maybe I will pull it up and post it on the timeline. Doc actually was the one who talked about some of the stuff that went down while Easy was in prison. We're talking about the stabbing that took place, the fact that he tried to sue the prison. I mean, it's really interesting. I almost wish that Doc was up here right now so that he could do his thing and tell everybody. I'll go back and try to find the clip and I will post it on the timeline. But all of this connects to that, which is very interesting. We're gonna go into the next piece, and I'm excited to get there. I have a Christmas. This might be weird now. Here we go. This one.
That was Good morning.
Morning.
Thanks, man.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Going to Redfern?
Yeah.
Or Evelyn? Yeah. We'll be there in 10 minutes. Let me know if it gets cold or how they can change it. And here we are. Thank you. Have a great day. Happy holidays. Thank you.
was fun. I like that. Fortnite is not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, good. Better than when you used to play.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, that build kit's really awful.
Yeah, it's garbage.
You should play a build.
Got no Elon Star.
Honestly, when you get better at the game and you go to build, you're gonna see it's almost easier than the games we play. Sometimes, not always. What are you up to now, Bob?
Well, I just got back home. I had to go drop the
Where do you have to go? Where do you have to go?
kid. Yeah. I don't know. Some shit my wife wanted to go to.
I thought you meant like a full practice or something.
No. In fact, I thought he was supposed to have, what did you mention? That he was supposed to have practice sometimes. I was not sure when. Because I know he's got a basketball game Saturday, I think. So they should have practice a couple of times this week.
They still have games during Christmas break? That's crazy.
Yeah, they do. Basketball, same. Basketball's big at Christmas.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like one of the hugest things, especially like in my family. Basketball family. Basketball is huge. Especially for the kids and like the youth groups.
Like Christmas Day, like there's NBA basketball.
Oh yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. I was just adding on to the fact that, NBA is huge just from Christmas, like basketball in general is huge, especially like for my family. Because like I said, we got the AAU league, right? Team determined. Follow us on Instagram. Yeah, man. Love these fucking kids. It's amazing the accomplishments that they reach, right? Like after just like seeing them play from 5 years old, going into high school and shit, and some of them like they're in the league now. Shit's crazy, bro.
NFL has a full season too. 12-7. They got all that.
Post that. Did you post that or I just see it on the timeline talking about Kansas City? Kansas.
Yeah, you saw that shit too, huh?
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about 21 Savage, like, I guess, because he was talking about the streets and some shit.
I think Big Spot put that in the chat.
About 21? She did?
No, about the Chiefs.
Okay, that's probably where I seen it. See, what I'm talking about. Chat. But I hate the Chiefs. Fuck them. They're in my division. I hate them.
Something about watching AFC football. I don't know.
It's been very disturbing as of late. I'll say probably the last 10 years, honestly.
I feel like longer than that. Like ever since Buffalo lost those 4 in a row, I've had like a bad feeling about the AFC. It's just not the same. What's up, man?
It hasn't been the same division. It's really not. I feel like ever since Marshawn Lynch, since Lynch left, right?
Since Seattle left, right?
Yes, since Seattle left the division, 100%. It changed the whole dynamics. I mean, as far as competitiveness, I'm not going to say that the competitiveness is like all the way gone or whatever, because like you still got your rivalry teams or whatever. But as far as the team itself being stacked up to compete with teams that are in other divisions, bro, it's just not fair, bro. Like, these motherfuckers aren't getting any players.
What's good, man?
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Chill. It's a 4-day session, bro.
Okay.
Not me. Did your shit even update? Did you even get on? Yeah, it took forever, but it finally downloaded. Update forever.
God damn.
Oh yeah, I've got a wild card big for the $10 bonus bet on